All right.
I know you weren't able to make it to the meeting yesterday. So I'm just going to give you what I gave out. No, I know, it's a distance for you. This is what I got coming up. And this is sort of what I wanted to talk to you about. But this is the affiliate proximity plan that you should do if you're in marketing. And then this is sort of what I'd like to sit down and go over that. Well, I've actually got a one-on-one problem. Yeah, I'll talk to you on the phone and talk about, because I'd like to offer you to come on in and go over that last time.
To the
almost like a basic $1,000 to $2,000 every month. So yes, after that is every month is
I like it. Oh, you like it? Morning, I like it. Yeah?
I'm going to last week's actually. This week is going to us.
What are you doing?
I went to some.
Are you going to finish the contract? Yeah. Stay up on the 25th.
Only evening.
Well, it's both morning.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Murphy Chamber of Commerce Business Card Exchange. Every Thursday, here tomorrow morning at the Community Center. If you're not getting the Wednesday email reminders at all, see Julie with the business card later. She'll find out maybe why you're not getting that weekly reminder, if you will. I look around the room, I do not see anybody here for the first time. Or on either second, third time, whatever. Okay. Glad that you made it out here on this brisk Thursday morning. Now, as I said, we're here every Thursday morning, except around certain holidays. This will be the last meeting for the year. Okay. You will understand, probably decide that in some announcements here a bit later. Make sure your cell phone's on silent and I'm ready to do it. Yep. I might also mention that Jean in the back is our 10-minute spotlight today. You'll hear from her here shortly. Last week, I suggested that we have a little bit different format. We certainly want to thank Seth for the breakfast casserole. We wanted to try to have something a little bit special and different for today, having maybe a little more of a social atmosphere to welcome the last week of the year. And as I stated last week, December is a good time to reflect on how well you've done business-wise over this year and maybe setting the goals for next year. So that being said, I had suggested that instead of our 30-second commercial, do a little bit differently. Give an example, if you will, of who gave you a referral that led you to do business for this year, whether they're in the chamber or not, how all that materialized. At the same time, what kind of referrals did you maybe give to somebody else that led to business? Okay, and then thirdly, your best favorite Christmas memory, and I think we can probably take a minute today instead of just 30 seconds. And so I'm going to turn our thing over to Julie for some announcements, so listen up. When she gets done, I'm going to go first instead of last to illustrate what I am referring to. Some of you may not have even been here last week. And that's just a suggestion, that's just an option, okay? It's entirely up to you. I want to make it voluntary, but I think it'd be a kind of a cool thing, okay? All right, I hope. Don't throw darts at the radio at me, all right? Take it away.
Good morning, everyone. Julie Richards, 21st. So again, we are here Thursday mornings. We'll resume January 9th, and I have confirmed that we will be back here. I will let you know as we get into the 2020 schedule which days we might have to meet in other places, because that probably will happen. The Murphy Activity Center refresh has been delayed a bit, so with construction, so we had hoped that, you know, that opens up another place for anyone who has activities here in the community, but because different organizations use this building, it does displace us a bit, and also voting does as well. So stay tuned for announcements for any changes of location in 2020. I will make sure I get those posted, whether it's social media, the website, and the email, so just keep your eyes open for that. Ribbon cuttings, we did do a ribbon cutting for Seth at the luncheon, so thank you if you joined us for that. We have a couple already booked for January 9th, which will also be that same day we're back. So January 9th, we will have two, even at the same time and almost at the same place. So Murphy Dental Home, you may remember they've been here before. They're a newer member, but they're finally going to do their kind of their open house and ribbon cutting January 9th. They will start at 3:30. We'll cut the ribbon at 4. And just 2 doors down from them is the Paradise Nail Spa. And they recently, I don't know if they have opened for business yet, but they are almost ready. And they're going to do the ribbon cutting, and they're having kind of an open house as well, 3:30 to 6. They're going to cut their ribbon at 4:30. So the plan will be is to show up, and we'll go kind of down the lane there, and we'll have the ribbon cuttings, and we'll celebrate with the businesses that are going to, 30 members are going to do the ribbon cutting. So remember, January 9th. Let's see, the next luncheon will not be until February. So February 18th is our next luncheon. We always take January off because we do have our big annual awards gala that's in January. So plan not to have a luncheon in January, but it's going to be February 18th. Stay tuned for details on speaker and sponsor. But it will be at the Working Road Baptist Church, so you can mark your calendars for that. The annual awards gala will be January 24th at the Hyatt Place. So we will kick it off with a cocktail reception, 6 o'clock. We're going to network between 6 and 7. Then we go in for dinner, and we have awards, and there's wonderful baskets that you can put your raffle tickets in and hopefully win. And so it's a great night. Cocktail attire, we'd love to have you there. Tickets are on sale. I will be having promotions going on Facebook and registration links. So whether you're a member or a non-member, let me know if you're interested in signing up. There will be sponsorship opportunities, and with the sponsorship opportunities, you will get your tickets for dinner, and in addition to that, you can choose how you want to promote your business with that sponsorship. And I want to thank Methodist Richardson Medical Center. They are a title sponsor. They have supported this event for many years, so we appreciate the continued support to make this possible. And also prospective members, if they choose to attend, first time that we're actually doing this, if they're looking to check out the chamber, so we know a friend that might be thinking about it, they're like, I want to check that event out. Their ticket sales will be slightly higher than a member rate. However, a portion of that will go back to their cost of membership that they joined by March 1st. So we know if anybody might be interested, it might be a good opportunity to check out the chamber, meet the membership, and have a great evening out. And also, I wanted to thank Greg Scott. He had partnered with us to make it possible to refresh our, I keep talking about it, I know you haven't heard, murphychamber.org. Go check it out. We're proud to have that site refreshed, and Greg helped with that. So thank you very much. You put up with me as we built the content, put the pictures in, and talked all about what we wanted, and we appreciate that, and it'll just get better and better as we continue to use it and find out how it can best serve you all as members. So with that, I think we can get started. Mark's going to kick it off.
I'm going to take it off. See, I was trying to back on my suggestion. About 4 or 5 months ago, I got a phone call from a Compass realtor, and I've never even heard of that real estate agency. How did you hear about me? And she said it was Chris Taylor. Some of you old timers know who Chris Taylor is. He's a cowboy car cleaning guy. And so I met her at a house in front of South Plano. She leased my equipment. It worked out well. I solved her problem. She liked what I did so well. She shared that with her colleagues in her office. About 3 or 4 weeks later, I get another phone call from one of her colleagues who obviously heard about me. I met her at a house, huge house, 9,000 square foot house, 2-story estate in the University Park area. That worked out very well as also. So there was an example of the domino effect that sometimes can occur with referrals. So that was really a great two-time payday for me. And I compensated Chris Taylor for that as well. Occasionally, well, about 6 months ago, I got a phone call from a customer who said she was, where she's had her car inspected, she feels like she's being ripped off. To find things wrong, it's not really wrong. Who would you recommend? I said, you need to see Terry at Save More Automotive. He will take care of you and you will not get ripped off. Okay? So there's 2 examples, giving and getting as far as referrals go. Okay? As far as one of my best Christmas memories go, I will never forget as a kid. Lived in a 2-story home, I went downstairs, pretending to go to the bathroom. I peeked around the corner at the Christmas tree, and there stood this brand new bicycle. My eyeballs were as big as saucers. I love that moment. Christmas time was always a great family time as well. Okay, how long does that take?
You were right on. Good job.
All right, there's an example which is strictly optional. You can give your single individual, you can know whatever you want to do. Okay, let's start at the back and kind of go forward, if you will.
I'm looking down going.
I bring those small rigs.
Were you here when he talked about how we're going to do the
No.
treatment? Would you just tell real quick? So, you can go ahead and if you want, you can do a referral that maybe you had within the year or in a favorite Christmas memory.
Okay.
Right, Aaron?
I've had lots of referrals.
Whether they referred you or you referred them.
Okay. I could think of one.
Christmas memory.
It's okay. I started blood, fixed well, and she repaired it for me.
Thank
My
you.
son.
Save the day. My favorite Christmas memory was I was 6 years old, and my father had just passed away in April. And my grandfather decided that he was going to make this a really big Christmas for me because my dad was gone. So my mom went out, and she also thought she was going to make a big Christmas. My brothers were older and they were married. I was an oops. But anyway, my mom went out and bought all this dining room kids set with the stove, the refrigerator, the food, the whole 9 yards, everything. I mean, dishes, you name it, it had everything. And so my mom had my grandfather put it together for her, except we came to visit a week before and we walked in the house and Grandpa said, surprise, Santa Claus came early. And my mother about had a cow because now she had to go buy something for Santa Claus. Because he was so excited he couldn't wait. He had to give it to me right then, and so I had 2 Christmases that year.
First of all, I'd like to thank my brother Macko because usually I'm at the shop taking care of the production work, and he decided that I needed to get out. So I thank him for letting me come to the Murphy Chamber of Commerce to meet everybody here. And this vest compliments of Carrie Lee. She put it together for us.
Makes you look good.
Yeah, makes us look good. Makes us look good. And not my favorite Christmas memory, but it's one that will always be on my mind is one Christmas I got one of those airplanes that you fly around and hold by a string. And Macko said, let me show you how to do it. And so I flew it, crashed it, broke it, and never was able to fly that plane, but I did. Thanks, Macko.
Oh, me? No, I've got the 10 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Well, one of the best referrals I guess I had was Clifford recommended me to come to the chamber here in Murphy. You people are great. It's a great chamber and it works. best Christmas memories is when I was a young man, my dad's parents lived in California. So we didn't get to see him very often, but we would at least go out there, once every 5 or 4 or 5 years. It was a long trip, but it was worth it to see him because they were great people. So, Merry Christmas. Thank you.
It's only my second week here, so I really don't have any referrals to thank you guys for yet, but I hope I will in the future. My name is Ray Bateman, and I'm with Carl Williams. I've worked out of the Lake City's office in Garland, but I live in Wiley. I kind of focus on the Murphy, Wiley, Garland taxi area. So if any of you guys have anybody that you know that might be in the market to buy or sell a home, I hope you would pass my name along. And thank you for having me. And I hope
I'm going to try and answer both of these. First, who I sort of refer to. My referrals are a little bit different because they a lot of times come through either an event or through a posting. So sometimes I do a follow-up on people that attended my event because I haven't heard from them. And one gentleman, I talked to him and he said, oh yeah, I've been so busy and your event, I met somebody and it's going to make my year. The other person that ended up meeting somebody at my event, he told me that through your event, I met somebody at your trade show and I will make $1 million this next year. Having said that, now let's flip it the other way. Ed has referred me to Susan Hamilton. Susan Hamilton referred me to Dean Lindsay and Melanie Murphy. And so they were keynote speakers at my trade show, and now I'm part of their business casual. Plus, there's another networking group through Susan Hamilton. So, drip, 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 exposure, and expanding my reach is because of that referral. Thank you, and Merry Christmas.
Good morning, everybody. I don't know how it happened, but one morning, Linda just showed up at our shop, and we were talking, and then she explained how she's a member of Miss Murphy Chamber of Commerce. So she invited me over. I came, and I really liked all the people, and I really enjoyed talking to people. And then since then, a lot of people came to our shop just to see what we do, and they were amazed that in Bangalore, how we cut them up and all this thing. So that was impressive. And I was able to help a lot of people, and I cannot name all of them because there are several, and a lot of them are not here today. But anytime I needed something, I always refer to the people that I work with and I know. And then I met Tommy, and then that's when we started working to save more. And things like that. Christmas is a big deal, especially in Bangladesh, where it's 99% is Muslim, and we are 0.some%. And it is frowned upon when we go somewhere and do something. But we have a village, about 18 sections, and we get together and we go to church, and we come, our family, we all get together on the 24th night, go to midnight mass, come back, have some champagne and some drinks and food, and then we sing Christmas carol, and that's what we do. So what I would like to do, I'll take 30 more seconds longer. I want everybody to stand up.
We ain't saying.
Everybody, you do it. And in the circle, who has? If you can make a circle, that's fine. If not, that's okay. Traditionally, we all sang Christmas songs, Christmas carols. So we're going to sing, everybody join me, okay? Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin mother and child, holy infant so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace. Thank you. Sing about the rat sound.
All right, everybody hold hands. You do know I'm an atheist.
Oh, I have a job to do.
particular recommendation that I've gotten, because ours are so small, I don't mean small, but, you know, and know that other people have recommended us from those recommendations, but one particular I can't. But the one that I've given, I think I would say goes to Ed. He's gotten a lot of work out of the church and out of people from the church. So that would be the one I would say. My happiest Christmas was, my son was born July 1972. That November, I shipped out to Vietnam and came back the following November, which was more than it should have been. But anyway, that Christmas with him was my favorite Christmas. So, that's it.
Same with Dawn, you know, but I can think of, so I do a lot of in-home private chair massage events, as well as corporate, you know, through businesses and stuff. So it was one of my latest referrals I remember is someone that I met back in February that I actually just did a short 10-minute chair massage with. She referred me to this one of my current clients who actually had both previous neck surgery and back surgery. So and helping her get through her persistent pain with that. So that and then Deborah Austin, she's really changed me and my business by working with her for all these years and, you know, kind of helping me take my business to the next level. So, but one of my favorite Christmas memories is we weren't exactly outside a lot. I'm from a small town north of Minneapolis, and I remember when I was in high school, it was a very cold winter that year, and I was part of the American Field Service, if everybody remembers AFS Club, that's way back then. We were supposed to go to Minneapolis for a big, to go to the movie theater, because, you know, we didn't have but, you know, 1 or 2 seat movie theaters near us. And they ended up canceling it because with the wind chill, it was minus 82 degrees. That's what I remember.
People complain about it.
Morning, everyone. Referrals, I've gotten a few since I've been here, short time this year. One that stands out is a small insurance company that Bobby referred me to that was having all kinds of very exciting issues that was causing them a lot of pain. So I got them fixed up, and as a result, I've gotten a couple of referrals from him. So we'll see how I also have a few referrals coming to Bobby, so that's one that will be given out. As far as Christmas memories, I don't have one that stands out in my mind right now, so I'm going to pass on. Everyone have a Merry Christmas.
When I opened my business phone account, and Bianchi referred me to come here, so I really thank you for him, because I just really meet the people here, and I learning from you. It's every day. I learning your experience, your story, and that's helping for me. And it's my best Christmas is I think 3 years ago. Is I met my wife in Spain. When I have to go to out of the country because when I renewed my visa, and at that time, now I got a green card, but at that time I have to go to the other countries, so I have to choose go to Korea meet the parents or go to somewhere meet the girl. so that time is I choose to go to Spain because meet a girl is that is taxi and calling me to my wife. It's that time my wife is in China. So we just, as U.S. and China is kind of going to the Spain together, dating each other, and at the times I just kind of directly say to her, if you want to marry with me, then I just stay with you. If it's not, I don't want to waste time. And then she said, whatever, okay, then you know, then you said, you know, I want to marry. Yeah, that is, you know, the really fun time to me, and you know, that is a remember that my Christmas time. Thank you.
Well, in terms of referrals, there's a gentleman that gives me a lot of referrals named Mark Weber. Some of you may know him if you have any computer Windows problems. He's a guy you want to talk to because he's a Windows expert. Certainly I'm not. I avoid Windows like poison. I can fix any Windows problem you have by replacing it. Mark has been consistent with giving me referrals across the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And somebody I recommend a lot is Ann Heine. If you need graphics, art, you need marketing materials, talk to Ann Heine. Although be careful what you ask for when you deal with her. I recently asked her to help me with an ad and I ended up with a new company name. So now I have 2 companies. Because Ann came up with a great idea and I had to go register. So now I'm in the process of adding another company name. So be careful when you walk with Ann, your company may double itself. As to Christmas memories, probably the best one was a few years back. I decided to take the kids to Washington, D.C. over the holidays and take them to the museums. Thought that was a great idea. So I rented an RV. We loaded up in the RV and the weather decided, nope, you're not going to Washington, D.C. That was when we had all the blizzards. Shut down the entire east side of the country. But fortunately, if you rent an RV, the beauty of an RV is you go, okay, now driving in that direction. We headed south, ended up in Florida, did Disney World because we figured, okay, we'll take the kids someplace they'll enjoy. Well, not as good as an educational museum, but Disney.
Didn't know who you were.
Christmas is a great place, and it turns out that people reserve they have a campground for RVs. People reserve that thing a year in advance, and they do huge Christmas events. People bring golf carts. They rent 2 or 3 slots and put up light shows that you can't believe. And about half of them couldn't make it, so we couldn't get a slot. By the time we got down there, they were half empty because the blizzard had shut everybody out. So we got a waterfront lot and spent the entire holiday at Disney just enjoying, relaxing, and playing with the kids and doing things, not necessarily in the parks, just we did a lot of stuff right in the RV park because it was just crazy people with light shows and stuff.
Well, I think a lot of people in this room for referrals. I get a lot of one-offs, but the 2 people that have given me the most, one is not here anymore. Pam is still giving me referrals. She called me the other day and gave me the name of somebody who I called, and we're going to hook up after the meetings. The one I've gotten the most consecutive business out of is some work at the Baptist Church. And out of that, there's a lady at the Baptist Church. I went and we did her master bathroom, which was a really good job. And she referred me to the lady across the street who's giving me job after job after job in her house. Me and my son is an electrician. So thank you, Don. It's been a really good source.
Thank you, Ed, because it's hard to find people that do good work and you not have to stand up
I work at his house also, for him personally. So that's how all of it got started. We made his wife happy. He said, anybody can make his wife happy, he's going to do business with it. So, as far as giving referrals, I mean, I've given referrals to a lot of people in this room. Some don't even know I gave them to them, or referred. I refer a lot of people to this group. Some have come, most have not, but some do. Julie will tell you I'm always, everybody I meet, I'm telling about this group. So, and also I refer a lot of people to the chamber, to be members of the chamber, and Julie is the ones that followed up with what I did. Julie is signing up. So, but the one referral that I've given that seems to have blossomed the most was to Rick. when I hooked him up with Susan Hamilton, and that just grew into a whole new business for him. So those are the ones that I remember. As far as Christmas memories, my most memorable Christmas memory I don't remember. I was about 6 years old, and my parents gave me one of these airplanes that you get in and you pedal and you ride around. And I immediately drove it into the 8-foot Christmas tree in October. The reason that it's one of my fondest memories is because I get reminded of it just about every year. I don't remember that. Merry Christmas.
Good morning. Sandy Garner from Aflac. And as far as referrals go, I will translate that into so many friendships and contacts that I have made through the church. And this Seth, me, Rick, Jean, Lee, Terry, Carol, Ray, a lot of people that I have met, and as a result of that, I have grown so much personally, and I've learned so much from you how to grow my business. So I want to thank you very much for that. As far as my favorite Christmas, I think my favorite Christmas was when I was about 16. I decided I was going to make some Christmas stockings for my parents. My brother and I had these absolutely fantastic Christmas stockings that would be filled to the brim every Christmas morning, and I wanted to do something for them. So I found some Christmas aprons that had the Christmas design on them. So I made some Christmas stockings from that, and then with the red tie, I put across the top and put their names in Mom and Dad on the top with glitter. Filled it all up with what I thought they might need for one as a little gift. But of course, they did not know I was doing this. I had to be real cagey in getting the sewing machine out when they weren't around, which wasn't much. So Christmas morning, I think the reason it is so memorable for me is was the look on their faces, the look of pleasure and the look of surprise. That was the greatest gift, because the fruit of my labor made them happy. That was my gift. So, thank you very much.
Man, I actually wrote out what I was going to say today, but I'm going to do all three. I'm so grateful for this group. As y'all know, I can't really say who our clients are, just because there's a lot of confidentiality that occurs within our industry as well as compliance goes. But those know who they are, who've disclosed things to me, and I've been able to be their financial cheerleader and encourager, and I'm just so grateful for that. But most of all, I think the most I've gotten from this group is just this great group of professionals that I can genuinely refer, feel confident with, and we all have taken care of them as well, and how I've grown as a professional as I build my career within Gel Dentistry. So I'm just extremely grateful for that. Some quick reminders, because I don't want to not tell you all this. Before the year closes out, this is a prime window if you are trying to find some more tax breaks someplace. This is the best time to max out any, if you have the means to. I know it's a tight time of the year, but if you want to max out any 401ks, any IRAs, your cap is $19,000 for your 401k, and then for your traditional or Roth IRA, it's $6,000. If you're over 50, you need to put another $1,000 in. So also, this is prime time for theft and fraud and just awfulness. I had to unwind some things from clients in the past of people they trusted stole money from them. So just be careful with your transactions. There's others out there that can overcharge you. Just be cautious. Also, max out your, you've already blown your deductible for your health insurance. Make sure you get your teeth cleaned, get your skin checked, get all those things done to fully utilize and maximize what you pay into. Lots of money. So use that up. You have an FSA account, you use it or lose it, use it. And if you are in a position where you can take a required minimum distribution, you have to take the full year end, or you're gonna have to fork out 50% of that. You don't wanna do that. So that's my book there. Favorite memories of Christmas, y'all. So for the record, I have 2 little girls, 5 and 1, Jillian and Kelsey, Jillian and Jilly. And that's all we're having, okay? So this is not an announcement by any means. But for the past 6 years ago and 2 years ago, we've announced that we were pregnant with our babies. So that's been our big memory for Christmas. 2 years ago, I let Jillian open up a Christmas present on Christmas Eve, because that's our tradition, just one gift. And it was a Cabbage Patch doll with the stroller and the little rock bassinet. And she opened it and she looks at me like, oh, baby. I said, yes, so you can practice being a big sister. You're going to be a big sister in August. So that's my favorite memories. And then my husband also proposed to me 10 years ago, beginning of December. So it's just a special one for us. So thank you all.
Morning, Greg Scott, Sykes. I love hearing all these stories about the referrals and all the business you've gotten from each other and even those outside of the chamber. Being an ambassador for the Murphy Chamber, we would love to hear those stories in digital form, whether it's a recommendation on the Murphy Chamber Facebook page or a Google review for the Murphy Chamber as well. So if you have a few minutes in the next couple of days while it's fresh on your mind, we'd love to hear that story, because without y'all, we're not a chamber, right? I mean, it takes all of us to make the chamber. It's been great for me too. That's why I continue to come, right? So referrals for me have been great, especially between, I guess the top of the list would be with Julie and the board electing me to rebuild the website for the Murphy Chamber. It's been very great. So thank you so much for that. And there's a lot more referrals I won't run through them all because I want to spend more time on this Christmas story. And I've also had the opportunity to work with some of you as well in your business. There was a lot of businesses going on. Anyways, Christmas, does it have to be a favorite one? Doesn't matter. Okay, so we tell a little story about the time I learned that Santa wasn't real. All right? I was probably... it wasn't in my house, he was late, whatever. All right, so listen. Edit that out. Edit out this whole story. Hear myself. All right, so I was probably, I don't know, 8 or 9. How big will all anyways, or young. My parents got divorced when I was young, so it was adjustment for all of us to learn how to live separate households. So my dad, being a dad, he did great. We'll leave it at that. He did great, but he always had a little bit of a sweet tooth, right? So you're familiar with Butterfinger, those little yellow packages, those miniatures. He always had some in a glass jar in the kitchen. Anytime you wanted, something sweet, we ran over there. So I'm at his house for Christmas morning. I guess I'd stayed the night there. I woke up, Santa brought me this really sweet BMX bike, right? It was freestyle, it had white mags. It was sweet. I was so in love with it. My dad was like, oh yeah, Santa brought you this bike. And I was like, boom. And he's like, oh yeah, and he's like, he didn't really have much money for anything else. That's kind of all you got. I was like, that's cool. This is the best bike ever. He's like, oh, you got a stocking too. And I said, oh, sweet. Let me check and see what's in this stocking. I reached in and I pulled a whole bunch of Butterfingers out. I was like, wow, it's funny. We have a bunch of those. The canister was empty. Pops was Santa. So that was the year I learned Santa was my dad. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Oh, for sure. I have stockings hung in 2 locations. One of my kitchen counter, one of my kitchen counter islands, and then a platform. That's just to give Sam an option. So, I like a lot of what I've heard this morning. I don't have necessarily any specific referrals that come to mind. Mainly because I hear a lot from people on Nextdoor, and then when I ask them, well, do you remember who exactly on Nextdoor recommended me? No. So, I know for sure Linda and Ed have mentioned that they've done that before, so I appreciate that from both of them. And then I also appreciate Linda Yo for referring me to Murphy. It's been, you know, I often talk to people about how I build a family of friends, and this has been a nice addition to that. So I appreciate all of you. I try to have you at the front of my mind. A lot of times, when I'm talking to parents, I'm talking about their kids. And then when I'm working with their kids, the kids don't need a lot of business. So I'm not able to give as many referrals as I would like to. But whenever I hear something that that sounds like something that Greg can do, or that sounds like something that Ed can do, I actually, I don't know if she ever contacted you, but I gave your information to one of my hands farm. She was having an odor problem. So I don't know, but it's up to them to follow through. But I do appreciate that. I have a lot of great Christmas memories. I love this time of year. It's great. So I instead of giving a favorite, I'll give an embarrassing Christmas Carol moment. It was actually just this past Sunday at my Christmas thing, and I thought I'd be all fancy, and because normally I'm just playing piano, and it works out well, and I figured why not shake things up. So I brought one of my digitals up to the church so that we could take advantage of some of the organ sounds and all that. And while I was playing for the kids, I thought I'll go ahead and be lazy, and instead of actually transposing and using my brain, I used a button on the keyboard to move it down. All worked out well and wonderful and all that. Well, the next hymn that the congregation sang was Silent Night, and it was beautiful, 2 verses, just guitar, cello, violin, and the congregation singing, and then the organ comes in on the 3rd verse, and guess who forgot to transpose it back up? So that was a moment of red ears and red face, but Merry Christmas, everyone.
Lee Craig with the Law Offices of Lee Craig, which Trust and Probate, Estate Planning, and Elder Law. This is the time of year when children go home and discover that Grandpa has been arrested 2 or 3 times for running down the road naked with a shotgun. And people call me at that point to try to make sure that the estate is planned and that there can be a smooth transition for the parents. My best referral I can't talk about because I cannot talk about my clients. Everything is discretion. I can say, however, that my favorite one is from somebody in the chamber, but I don't know who, because all they would tell me was, well, it was some lady, and she said something about Murphy in a chamber. So thank you all for that. My favorite Christmas memories, there's 2 of them. The first one isn't really a memory. We have a videotape, and on the first half of it is my blood family, and we're all running around laughing, just roaring until the tears run out our eyes. And then the in-laws come in, and the first words out of anybody's mouth are, "You parked too close to the curb." "No, I didn't." "Then the turkey's not done." "I hate this cranberry sauce. Why do we have cranberry sauce?" And it made me so grateful for the family I have, because they've always been so happy and so positive and so cheerful. My second memory is we're sitting in the family room of my sister's house. The kids have all gone around to the back to play in one of the bedrooms, and apparently one of them wandered off, because all of a sudden over in the kitchen we hear this big crash and a little voice coming from out of the kitchen saying, "I didn't do it." Those are my favorite Christmas memories.
I'm Becky with Murphy Dental Home. Sorry, it's not contagious, I promise you. I just wanted to thank you guys all. It's been a pleasure to get to know everybody and to be part of the chamber. It's the first time I've ever done it, so I really appreciate it. And to the ones that have joined our dental family, thank you very much for being part of us. My favorite Christmas memory is also my worst Christmas memory. My son was in Afghanistan, and it was my grandson's very first birthday, and we didn't think we were going to get to Skype with him. So we're all sitting around and opening up gifts, and my phone beeps, and it's my son. He says, "Get to the computer." So he already had it out in the living room, just in case. And so we got on, he was on there, and it was the first time Logan smiled when he saw my son come up on the screen. And it was, we looked so proud of him. But it was really my best Christmas and my worst. Thank you.
Oh, Bobby, you're up.
Oh,
Almost forgot.
well, I'm Bob Tiller. Most of you know me by name. My favorite Christmas, I guess I got kind of two that come to mind. One is probably was just a kid, 5 or 6 years old, and my father had grown up out in New Mexico, out near Clovis, New Mexico. His father, my grandfather, he and I went out in the country near Tucumcari and cut down a Christmas tree. And I don't know why, there wasn't nothing fancy about the Christmas tree, but going out in the snow and cutting down a tree with your dad and your grandfather, bringing it back and putting it up in their house was really kind of a neat event. It sticks in my mind. And I guess the other one was that we have twin girls, and they were born on December the 12th. And so our first Christmas, had been married a couple years, but our first Christmas with them was really kind of special because it was just a couple of weeks later. And they were under the tree, and my wife fixed them up put them in little Santa sock things, just like I thought that's kind of neat. And with what you're talking about your son, this is the first year, I guess, our family's all physically close together and emotionally close too. This will be the first year that our grandson has not been with us because he's in the Navy and he's out in California. So we're going to try to do the FaceTime deal, and they get together. That's one of the neatest things about technology, that you can get to visit with people like that. But it's be the first time in 20 years that we haven't all been physically together for Christmas, and so it's going to be kind of it's kind of tough on me, but his dad's really having a rough time of it. But anyway, it's a blessing. I've mentioned this 2 or 3 times, being a part of a group. I started coming here, we're from Saxe, so I was the president of the Historical Society there, and we sponsored the Vietnam Wall Memorial to come to town. And so as a part of the marketing strategy for that, I went to all the different places around, the police departments and all these. So I started going to Saxe and Wiley and Murphy networking meetings to promote that. And I met a bunch of good people. So that was 2 years ago, and I'm still coming, and that wall. It was nice. I saw a lot of nice people and got to make some good contacts with folks. And several of you guys in here I've done business with, or am doing business with, and hope to do business with. But it's good, like 2 or 3 have mentioned, just to have a good camaraderie with people that you can enjoy visiting with and sitting down and talking to. And I don't know anyone in here that I would not want to refer somebody to. And I have referred folks to different people in here. And that's good to know, because then you know the people that you can trust. And that's a very important thing. But anyway, I appreciate your time, appreciate your business, and I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you.
He can't go back there without coming in front of the camera and waggling his head at least once.
Jingle, jingle.
You can't wear a hat like that.
All right, well,
and not display it every place you can.
At the Marv, come on, Marv, he was trying to we were at the Tri-Chain Convention. I said, I can't let Marv get the best of it, so I had to. Yeah.
Oh, I see. The camera is rolling. Is that it? Well, that was a lot of fun. It took a lot longer than I expected. Hopefully, most of you are not ready to bail out here at 9 o'clock because we're running late. My apologies for that. It's been a lot of fun. At any rate, you heard me say before, if you are a chamber member, you have an opportunity to receive in a spotlight. And Gene, you are on.
Are you sure? I mean,
Fine lady, you are on.
I mean, we can nod and say we did,
Can't we talk about your favorite Christmas miracle?
Well,
At least part of it.
actually, the only thing I could think of was the time my father brought home a bunch of turkeys for a turkey shoot. We had a backyard full of turkeys, that was weird. The first time I came to the chamber was this time last year, and everybody was telling their Christmas stories, and I just felt like, oh, it's not all about the, 12,000 presents to give the grandkids anymore. It's sliding down the hill on a piece of cardboard, Yeah, yeah. The stuff we did when we were kids was a lot less electronic. At any rate, now that we've had our Christmas cheer, let's talk about death and dying. Oh boy, I'm excited. Oh boy. Okay, well, Tina Turner and Proud Mary, I'm going to start off nice and slow, and we're going to end up hard and fast, because once I hit the numbers, everybody except the financial planners' eyes will glaze over, and we'll move through that fast. Okay. You can read these. Everybody has got a reason why they don't plan for their end years. But the one that I come in contact with the most is they think Medicare is going to pay for it. Well, guess what? It don't unless you are flat broke. So, don't expect that. A lot of people try to take care of their spouse long past the point when they should have put them in a facility, and it has a high stress factor. They don't have time to do their own stuff because they have to watch the person 24/7. The kids also get hit. So, not just monetarily, but I mean, they use their own savings to pay, because they will come after, anything that smells of money. And, but it also affects their jobs, right? So it's hard to take care of somebody who is not able to take care of themselves. And that's where the facilities start coming in. Okay, now these are just 2017 numbers. They did, and it's just for Texas. They have them for all states, but I will say that New York is like 4 times this amount. Yeah, it can cost you close to $500,000 a year in a nursing home in New York. Yeah, I know. So the numbers are pretty bad. What I did in my illustration, I will explain. Okay, so a long-term care insurance policy, there's 2 types. There's the type that pays for the benefits, and then there's the indemnity type that pays a fixed amount regardless of whether you use it or not. And then there's also the type where you can pool the benefit. And so if you don't use it, it just stays in the pool, and that kind of stretches your timeline out a little. But the thing they all have in common is they pay a fixed amount a day for a certain number of years, usually, 2, 3, 4, or 5. But that can be tweaked. Everything, life insurance, can be tweaked, of course. And then the maximum benefit would be, if it's a $100 a day policy for 5 years, it'd be $182.5, and once you've run out of that, it stops. Also, if you don't use it, you lose it. So there are newer ways of doing, of structuring it, that if there's any left over, it goes to your kids. But truthfully, your kids should just be glad if they don't have to pay anything. They get out with nothing. You've liquidated your estate and have it come and taken it from them. Okay, so I created an illustration. This is going to be hard to understand. This is the number we're looking at here. Okay, So I started at age 66 and said, there's gonna be 4 years. Okay, one of the, on the prior screen where I was looking at total cost, I forgot to point out that home health care and home health aides are the same as assisted living. It costs just as much to have somebody come into your home and take care of you as it does for you to go into a facility. So whether you want to say, at age 81, I have somebody start taking care of me, and then I go into a home, or I just go into a home right away, it doesn't matter. The numbers are going to be approximately the same. So you go along for 15 years, living in your paid-off house with a minimum amount of expense. The only income you have is Social Security. And I kept these numbers the same because of the hold harmless clause. So you're supposed to be getting cost of living increases in your Social Security check, but the increase in the Medicare premium is much higher than that, so you end up not getting any more than you got the year before. So you get the same amount for 15 years. Now, this is totally unrealistic. 24,000 expenses never going up. There's no inflation in there that you have to assume that it's going to increase over time. But be that as it may, you have this much coming in, this much going out, and you're going to be in the hole almost $250,000. Okay, if you add a long-term care policy, and I picked the same 5-year benefit length for each illustration so that you could see what happens to the curve as you go up in price. So you get $100 a day. This is, it pays everything but $94,000. So if you go $200 a day, you actually end up with more money. So the sweet spot for a 5-year benefit length is somewhere between 100 and 200 a day. And at 300 a day for 5 years, you're going to end up with more money. But look at the premium. It goes up, right? So the more you get per day, starting at age 66 makes it high to begin with. If you start one of these policies in your 50s, your premiums are going to be much lower. So that basically is the gist of it, is you adjust it based on how you see the end of your life being, what it looks like to you. And most people assume it's going to be like this, this part forever. They don't even want to think about what this is going to look like. And that's a mistake. So, that's it. That's basically how long-term care works, yes?
I just want to say 2 things. One is long-term care won't keep you, if you want it, from getting Medicaid.
No.
Medicaid loves people that have long-term care plans.
Mm-hmm.
And let me see if I can remember the other point now. No, I forgot.
It'll come back to you.
Yeah, it'll come back to me a little later. But Medicare's a good buy. I'm not Medicare, long-term care.
Well,
is a
and
good
bear in
buy.
mind, this is using the traditional form of benefits reimbursement.
Right.
And there are newer ways to do this, where anything left over goes to your
Well,
kids.
and long-term care will care for you at home, where Medicare and
Yes.
Medicaid will not.
Yes.
That's the other one. Sorry.
Kristen.
What do you see the averages for being in an assisted living or having someone in your home? What's the average timeline of that?
Well, yeah, see, it's the timeline that really is.
5 years, but what if someone lives way longer? How's that?
Memory care in particular can. Because, yes. But other than memory care, it's usually shorter. You're able to stay in your home and you're okay until the very, very end. You don't think so?
About 6 years. And that's still.
Well, I also have other charts where you have other income besides Social Security, and that also stretches it out. So even though long-term care may be costing more than you're getting, it's stretching your own money out.
If there's no other questions, you need to see Gene afterwards, you can do so, okay? For one-on-one or whatever. Thank you very much. Now, for the sake of time, we will forego community announcements. There were several thank yous with the referral aspect anyway. We got plenty of giveaways. We may have more giveaways than we got business cards in here. Does anybody want to add their card to the pie?
That reminds me, does anybody need a wall calendar? I have a few left over. No, make it women.
Okay, we're going to do something different today. I'm going to draw a card, and you can come up and pick what you want, okay? I'll draw a card, and you can come and pick up what you want. Murphy down.
Okay, I'm Christmas nut.
Awesome. So what? Gonna pick what you want?
Yeah. I'm not allowed in Hobby Lobby or any place like that.
My religion said,
Bobby, Mr. Webbs.
That is nice. Thank you.
This is Reed. You're a winner. Look at what you want.
places to go.
Taekwondo.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Rick. David. Christine.
I got one of these yesterday.
Redmond Center, Texas.
What is it again?
Lewis here, Smart, Texas. That's yours?
When did you change the business?
Yeah. Okay. Sarah.
No, it isn't yours. I pulled yours out instead of
And you got a card in here. How many you got there? I want to get 2 cards now. Oh, we'll save the pay for next time. Graham?
Yes.
Oh, that's right.
Clifford? That's the United Very good, we're done. Sorry for being so late. About 5 minutes.
Very good.
Everybody.
Yeah, well, that's I mean, January, but just kind of every state was with the min-max and median. And yeah, on my spreadsheet, I actually looking, so in 15 years, what it's going to cost is different. And I actually.
When today that you finish up? Okay, so you said
Should be able to get check it out.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, tomorrow is I go to the hospital, so yeah, the last week I cannot go there because something to do. So today and check it out, and tomorrow in the morning I try to what I needed more or something like that.